Its district, vision, and communications project. Strategic Planning and Communication by Matt Smith. Rollins County USD 105. It takes a world of difference to make a different world. Our mission shares the responsibility with students, staff, and the community in providing a positive learning environment within the financial means of the district that will allow all students to gain lifelong learning skills necessary to become productive and responsible members in an ever-changing society. Rhodes Capacity Standards. We follow sufficient oral and written communication skills to enable students to function. Sufficient knowledge of economic, social, and political systems. Sufficient understanding of governmental processes. Sufficient knowledge, self-knowledge, and knowledge of his or her mental and physical wellness. Grounding in the arts to enable each student to appreciate their historical and cultural heritage. Sufficient training or preparation for advanced training in either academic or vocational fields, and also a sufficient level of academic or vocational skill to enable public school students to compete favorably with their counterparts in surrounding states. So, why strategic planning? Well, a strategic planning guide is an administrative organizational process used to set the priorities of a district. During the process, one needs to determine their position on the possible topics at hand, develop a strategy and how to accomplish these goals, build a plan to achieve those goals, and manage the performance through a strategy-checked plan. So, advantages. Establish a mission, vision, and guiding principle. Articulate school district priorities and stakeholder values. Align workforce and financial resources. Provide communication vehicle to inform stakeholders about district initiatives. Effectively engage employees and other stakeholders to commit to a common vision and work together to accomplish the goals. Provide a base from which progress towards the achievement of goals can be measured. Allow the school district to establish a path to accomplish its desired future and set specific data-driven priorities. And create excitement and energy with the school district. When new things are coming about, people get excited. A strategic plan is a document that articulates the school district's mission and vision, as well as the goals, objectives needed to achieve the vision. Develop a committee of stakeholders to convene and lead a strategic planning process. Include parents, students, community, business leaders, retirees, Board of Education, people in your community. The committee's purpose is to examine student staff performances and financial data of the district and formulate a plan to improve the future. Our specific target areas are improve student achievement, recruit, retain, and develop staff, involve and engage stakeholders and keep communication open, understand and be responsible for infrastructure. I found that many of these things are looked at each year, but some are set in stone for 3 to 5 years. The first one, improve student achievement. Here are our action steps. You can see those. Responsible party, resource or cost, timeline, and then our evaluation tool. You'll see these throughout our strategic plan. Second, recruit, retain, and develop staff. Again, action plans, parties, source, timeline, and finally evaluation tools. Involve and engage stakeholders and keep communication open. Action steps. Those that are responsible, you can see there's quite a few. Resources, timeline, and evaluation tool. And finally, understand and be responsible for infrastructure. Again, our action steps, responsible parties, resources, timeline, and evaluation tools. As I visited with Bill Day at Lyons and Daryl Coleman at Nemaha schools, I found it was interesting to see the similarities yet the differences between the 3 districts. In each case, there are different goals that are set forth and different needs that should be addressed. However, the one thing that I did notice about the strategic plans is that the ultimate goals were all the same. Okay, what is best for your district? Which leads us to communication and advocacy with the legislatures. When communicating with national and state legislators, I found it to be a difficult issue to try and conquer. Okay, why is that? Had many questions? Was it because of the size of the school? What was it? So I asked a few questions. Here they are. What are your thoughts on the current funding bill in public education? As I visited with Adam Smith and Rick Billinger in my particular area, both felt that it was good. Adam Smith said, I think this it would be ruled constitutional by Kansas. The Supreme Court addressed it in the key resolved issue of Gannon 6 decision. Arguments exist against the constitutionality of Senate Bill 142 and the level of funding, but my personal opinion is that the courts will see it as acceptable. Rick Billinger believed that we had paid more money into last year than we needed to. However, he did say that we needed to account for inflation. As far as Jerry Moran, he was committed to doing everything he can at the federal level to make sure that every Kansas student had an opportunity to a quality education. Senator Pat Roberts declined. The second question. With the issue of school shootings, we have implemented safety drills in our public schools. Senate Bill 128 deals with this topic. My question for you is, do you feel 16 total drills is adequate? Adam Smith replied with, I subscribe to the adage quality over quantity. So this is difficult to answer. A couple of very well organized and rehearsed drills could yield the same benefit of 10 substandard drills. So the actual number that is adequate is subjective. I believe 16 drills throughout the year are more than enough to create the level of awareness necessary to respond in any school emergency. Rick Billinger said that I think that should be up to you as a district and a school board. Jerry Moran and Pat Roberts declined to answer. My third question, private schools are another possibility for many students, depending on where one lives. A private school may be a better possibility than public schools. What are your thoughts on the increase to Kansas tax credit scholarship programs for private schools? Adam Smith responded with, we do not see many tax credit in the 120th district, but I am aware that there are several private school options in other areas. The popularity of this program is certainly growing, per statistics provided by our Legislative Research Department, as well as SB. At this time, I'm not sure why we are looking to increase the program. The last data received showed that the current tax credits are less than 40% of the current maximum. Rick Billinger replied with, I think it is a non-factor out west. Maybe TMP here in Hayes, if parents are interested. But I don't see it as a factor. The other two national representatives did not answer. Number 4, living in a rural community, the hospital brings in a lot of positives for our community here in Atwood. It houses several job opportunities, probably one of the top 6 industries in our community for our families. It is local, and traveling to Colby or Goodland does not have to happen. Now, for specialized services, traveling is still required, but those with strep throat and sprained ankle can be taken care of with trips here locally. My question for you is, how can we help solve the issue of rural hospitals closing in our little towns? Adam Smith's response, rural hospitals face the large problem of uncompensated care. Emergency services provided for uninsured patients who are unable to pay most, if any, of their bill. Expansion of Medicaid, while politically unpopular due to its connection to Obamacare, will significantly help this problem. Also, more access to telemedicine from our local hospitals could help keep healthcare local, yet provide high-quality specialized care to members of our community. Rick Billinger followed that up with, our rural communities are elderly and losing populations. Communities will need to figure out how to deliver health care. I really wish I had a good answer for that. Senator Moran and Roberts declined to answer. The fifth question, with the popularity of Juuls among teenagers, how do you think that we can get them to understand the dangers of the product? What can we do as a nation, state, and even community school to help explain the dangers to our children? In both cases, Adam Smith and Rick Billinger both stated that we need to educate. Educate our public, educate our students, our staff, our parents as to the dangers. As far as Senator Moran and Roberts, they declined to answer. I am grateful for this opportunity to contact my federal and state legislatures, as it has shown me that I need to be a bigger voice for the small communities, for the small schools, because many times we do seem to get overlooked with certain aspects. Communication with the board. Perhaps the most important characteristic of a professional governance board is a close and effective working relationship between the superintendent of schools and the BOE. Communication, weekly updates, newsletter bulletin. We do this as principals, but it's monthly. Sometimes we do it weekly. It depends. Dates, activities, transportation, KESB, legislative news updates, special events, concerns, weekly pauses, board questions. Those are all factors to think about when communication. Some characteristics: be transparent, show mutual respect, be honest and trustworthy, have a sense of humor, you gotta find the good and have fun, passion for the students and staff, show them you care, and have knowledge and understanding of board and district policies. Know the ins and outs. Here's an example. This is something we use. This is our dates of activities that go on. Here's our activity location, activity, release time, leave time, start time. Black represents home activities. Red represents away activities. Okay, send that weekly. This happens to be a very busy week, the week of February 11th through the 16th. Here, KESB updates. These are hyperlinked articles that come from KESB. I know it's hard to see the colors, okay, but those are each articles. Here are special events that we have going on in the district. RCES Crop Card Awards for Positive Behavior, 8 a.m. Elementary school. Come join us, have fun. Special concerns. What might be some special concerns? Okay, per our conversation at the board meeting, I visited with the KESB attorney and they suggested, and whatever it was, use those lifelines that Dr. Burke always talks about. And any board questions that you may have. Okay, if one has a question, many probably have the same question. And have daily positives. Don't just show the negatives, show the positives. Show the positives that are going on in your building. Here's an activity. The new speaker system was finished and put up in the high school auditorium. Sounds great. You should come check them out. But those are just some ideas. These are just examples. If there's a possible concern or it's a phone call is made. This allows the board to know what is going on each week and they're able to connect to the district. Friday mornings, I would advise that the administration team, including the AD, building principals, and superintendent, meet to set up upcoming weekly activities. As we have heard throughout our speakers and classes, having a shared vision and great communication with the BOE will lead to a better working environment for all involved in the district. Thank you.